We're live, Bongo Boy. Oh, we're live, apparently.
Oh, sorry, I was seeing who was joining us on the chat. Hello, campers. No, I like having the iPad with all the controls.
Joining us on the chat.
Hello,
Hold on.
We've got a technical difficulty.
And where's the? This is what happens.
There we go.
When you give Abby control of the iPad. That's right.
I wanted to read it. We got someone from Abu Dhabi, and it's midnight.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Kev. Kev is live from Abu Dhabi. He has to be up for work early. We'll try and keep you awake, Kev. Don't worry. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this very exciting Friday evening. The last Friday of January, no less.
The last Friday of January. We've just had our curry. We have got some poppadoms here and a bit of mango chutney, so we might.
I'm quite full.
Yeah, I am at the minute. And this is our other room. So just there is our normal studio where you normally see us. And this is our other studio room.
It is. I'm like, how far does the... Oh, I see.
What are you doing?
Oh, I thought we might have moved this roll of fabric, but alas, we haven't.
No, we haven't moved that. So we thought we'd come in here and have a bit more comfort for our end of the month live stream.
So we are very, very excited. A little bit full and excited because, as well as a bunch of fun things for you, we have got the amazing Morgana Creely joining us live from Australia, where it is the crack of dawn.
Crack of dawn.
The sun is just coming up, and she is very... Why are you laughing? Because I said the crack of dawn.
I can't believe you. Yeah, that's an old joke, but we won't go there.
Oh dear. Right. Well, you've ruined my nice introduction now.
Yeah. Anyway, go on. Start your intro again. Go on.
Well, we've got lots of exciting things for you today. And the most exciting thing is that, as I mentioned, from Australia, we have got Morgana Creely joining us to talk all about her new book, Last Call 3 AM. We're also doing a prize draw at the end of the show for Morgana's book. We got lots of questions for Morgana, which I'm sure she's delighted about. She's going to play us a little tune. We're going to play a game. Lots of things going on, haven't we?
Yeah, and we're going to do a few questions and answers from you guys as well.
Yes, so if you've got any questions for us, probably more for Morgana than us.
Morgana, shout them out, and Bongo Boy will try and keep track. Is Bongo Boy there? Where's Bongo Boy?
Bongo Boy's here too.
Here he is.
Oh, look, he slid himself in.
I'm just panicking because I'm sort of like, should I be putting Morgana on or unmuting Morgana or
right? Let's unmute Morgana and let's bring her on.
Yeah.
Can we have a round of applause, Bongo Boy? Yellow button.
Hello, Morgana.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for getting up so early.
Well, do you know what? So we were just having a little chat with Morgana, and I feel bad that we've made her get up really, really early. But then at the same time, she's just told us it's going to be 38 degrees there.
So we're very jealous.
So, you give with one, you take with the other, don't you?
Yeah. Have you got anything to do today, or will you I'd be out in the garden like this.
Oh, no. I hide when it's hot weather.
Yeah, me
Blinds
too.
down, hide in the dark.
Yeah, me too. Abby literally would be lying in oil.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. If I go on holiday, I'm out there, like 8 o'clock, and I'm there till minimum 6 o'clock. Yeah. Can't be wasting that sunshine.
I got a hammock this summer. I haven't taken. I put it up in the living room.
Oh, I saw a picture of Fern in it in the living room.
You've got a hammock in your living room.
Yeah, you saw a picture of Fern. It's multicoloured, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Have you got a hammock, Morgana?
No, but we've got an inflatable swimming pool in the kitchen.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
That sounds
unusual, but amazing.
Yeah. We don't have any outside space.
Wow.
So you've got to go with what you've got.
So you can sort of swim to the oven and then swim over to the sink.
Reach over for a cocktail.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
I like to think it's a very small kitchen, so that whenever you do anything,
it is a very small
in
kitchen.
the pool. So you're kind of like paddling as you're cooking your tea and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You got your swimming costume on just to pop to the kitchen and get a drink.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can we do that?
Probably. What was I going to say? I was going to say, it's gone. What else are we doing today?
Let me give you a little run through on my very technologically advanced. Hello to uke and flute. Hi to Fern Tether. We were just talking about
We're
you,
just
Fern.
talking about you,
That's
Fern,
Bongo
and
Boys.
and
That's
your hammock.
Bongo Wife.
Bongo wife.
So we have got an interview with Morgana, and then Morgana's going to play for us. You've got a little secret.
I've got, after my toy review, if anyone watched that the other week, to which I had some good and some bad comments on that
Some
one.
people weren't happy.
My little boy Jesse found this himself.
Spent his own
in a
money on
shop,
it, didn't
and
he?
he bought it for us and said, I found this, and it's much better than the one that we reviewed. So we're going to have a little look at that. Only a kind of a little look. It's probably massively out of tune because it's new, but
Yeah.
we'll try and get that in tune.
We're then going to have a Q&A session, so please get your questions in on the chat if you've got anything you would like to ask us or Morgana. We are then going to do the draw for the winner of Morgana's books and downloads. Yay! And we're doing a bit of dare darts for that, aren't we?
We are.
So we'll see how good Kevin's dart skills are.
We've got some dare darts, but there's forfeits, and there's forfeits for us.
Morgana looks terrified. We have already warned her that we're not going to throw the darts at her.
Yeah, I don't think we've decided what the forfeits for us are yet. There's a forfeit for Morgana as well if I happen to hit it, but
we'll have to.
Yeah, we
maybe
haven't
people
decided
could
for us
suggest
yet.
the forfeits.
Perhaps,
No, that's a bad idea.
yeah, perhaps we'll let people decide the forfeit. Perhaps we'll let Morgana decide the forfeits.
Yeah. Well, we've got Shazzy P joining us as well. She says hi Morgana, and then 4 cats.
Ah,
They're
Two-
not an
lovely.
inch though.
There's 2
They're
dogs
quite
and
little.
2 cats.
Oh, are they? I think they meant. Well, there's some small mammals on that.
I'm sure they're cats. So, shall we get into this? Shall we
Yeah,
talk to
let's.
Morgana properly? Thank you for coming on, Morgana.
What time did you have to get up this morning?
5:30?
Oh,
Thank you even more.
yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well,
Well, I didn't want to come on here and have my eyes falling out.
So, go on, Abby. You start us off.
Well, we thought we would start just, with a very ukulele question. They're all quite ukulele, to be honest. But basically, we just wanted to know a little bit more about you and your background. How did you get involved with the ukulele? What size ukulele did you start playing? All those kind of fun things, if you don't mind giving us a little bit of a backstory.
Okay, so I got my very first instrument when I was 12. My dad bought me a folk guitar, which I still have. It's sort of beat up, but very well loved. And I've played a lot of instrument over the years. I've played cello, I've played trumpet. I still play Irish harp occasionally. I've played concertina, tenor guitar, bass guitar. I'll give anything a go.
Wow.
And I was playing concertina at the time, and a very good friend of mine who'd always wanted to learn an instrument when she was a kid, but just never had the opportunity, said to me, I really want to learn to play something. Can you teach me to play concertina? And I said, absolutely, I can. But a decent concertina is going to cost you about $3,000 Australian, so about £1,000, I think my last one. So why don't you learn? And I just plucked an instrument out of the air, and just the first thing that came to mind, I said, why don't you learn ukulele? And she said to me, well, can you teach me ukulele? And I went, sure, I can teach you ukulele. I'm thinking, how hard can this be? So I went out and bought a fairly cheap tenor ukulele, and she went out and bought the same, and she had a few lessons and was kind of glad that she tried it, but didn't really stick with it. I think she had a very busy life and other things going on. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. So within sort of a few months, I was upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. And my main tenor for a very long time was a brand called Maton, which is an Australian-made, beautiful, high-quality instrument. Tommy Emmanuel plays Maton guitars, so it's like really good quality.
Yeah.
And I was happy doing that until my friend Alan, if you're out there, you know who I'm talking about, bought a baritone. And I'm like, what's this? I really like this sound because I love deep-sounding instruments.
Yeah.
So within a very short time, he'd brought me over to the dark side. So now I play exclusively baritones. My favorite baritone at the moment, because I'm always trying other things, is the beautiful Pono steel string, which I
lovely.
absolutely adore. I love steel string instruments.
So
So that's
you've
kind
got
of how
tough
I got
fingers
into
then.
ukuleles. Sorry?
So you've got tough fingers then.
I have now.
No fingerprints.
No fingerprints. How I got into writing ukulele music, I mean, I've always written my own music. Very long story short, I broke my ankle a couple of years ago and was sitting in the car waiting for the ambulance, feeling sorry for myself. So I pulled out my phone and I'm sort of going through social media, trying to keep my mind occupied.
Yeah.
And I spotted this post from Paul, who I didn't know back then, but greatly admired his books, saying that they were putting this book together for the London Ukulele Project and how excited he was about it. And just, I'm a very impulsive person, so I immediately sent him an email saying, I would love to contribute to this. Do you still need music? For which he kindly said yes. And then I thought, great, I have to go home and write something now. So I went home and wrote the Wombat Lullaby, which they very kindly put in the book. And then that was kind of it. I was off and running.
Amazing.
Wow.
Was Morgana saying she admired our Paul?
Yeah,
Paul?
Paul.
Paul?
Paul
Well,
Carlo.
I did also say I didn't know him then.
That makes
yeah.
more sense.
Yeah, we all admired him before we got to know him, didn't we?
We've have we got a little message from Paul, or have we not?
We have, but we forgot to load it onto the system, so we
Ah.
might sort that out for a little bit, or Bongo Boy might have to play it on his phone and hold it to the camera. But
Very high tech
yeah,
here.
we completely forgot about that. We were too busy eating our curry, weren't we?
Too busy feeding ourselves, but we have got a lovely message
We
for
have
you,
got a
Morgana,
little
from
message
Paul.
Oh, good.
So, did you play guitar before you played the ukulele?
Yeah,
At all?
yeah. I learned guitar when I was 12, but
Right.
it was just singing and chords. So
Yeah.
I
You
wasn't
said
sort
folk
of doing
guitar.
any
Yeah.
finger picking like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I think it is a big help, isn't it? If you're then going over to the ukulele. And I mean, I was the same. I played guitar, and I kind of love the fact that, I mean, I consider I play way more ukulele now than I ever pick up my guitar. And I think that's great for like an instrument that the ukulele can actually take on a guitar like that and kind of take over you a little bit. But did you find sort of other instruments helped you as well, or was it just kind of coming from guitar?
Absolutely. Because I think any musical instrument is going to help you play another musical instrument. I mean, people tend to get blown away by the fact that I've played so many, but you get to a stage when it starts clicking in the brain, and it's almost like you're just reinforcing what's already in there.
Yeah.
So, okay, the baritone, the chords are different to the standard tuning of a ukulele, but the concepts are still there, and you're still developing your ear as you go. And even playing something like trumpet, which you'd really think has nothing to do with the ukulele, but I would now listen to something on trumpet, and now because I've played trumpet, I go, well, I kind of know that's going to fit into this over here. It's a 12-bar blues or whatever, and I've got enough ukulele knowledge that I can think, well, I can take that bit of the trumpet that I liked and do something with the ukulele, which isn't going to sound like trumpet, but I'm bringing that concept across.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, all roads lead to Rome sort of thing.
Yeah. I've got a question that's just occurred to me.
Oh,
from
go
that,
on.
That we didn't think about before. But have you ever thought about writing them for two instruments? So like a baritone ukulele and a flute, or a trumpet, or doing some...
No, I haven't thought about that, but that's actually a really good idea.
I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the baritone would work really nicely with that, because you have got that slightly lower end.
Duet ukulele.
Didn't we do that with Paul's called? Oh no, that was two
Ukulele. That's for two ukuleles.
We did a book with Paul called Two Ukulele, which Abby thought up the title of years ago. And
I love a word merge.
But yeah, no. Well, maybe it's something to think about. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's proposing a new project.
Maybe, yeah, a new project. Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Stay on the line afterwards, Morgana. We'll talk. So when it comes to performances or recording, how do you prepare yourself? Do you have sort of a strict regime that you follow? Do you play it by ear? Do you have any superstitions? How does it work for you?
When I'm recording, which I do here, I can plug straight into my computer, which is great because it means it doesn't pick up any background noise. I just kind of just turn the microphone on and do it. And in fact, a lot of my compositions, I make them up as I'm playing them, and then have to go back later, listen to the recording, and work out what I did, which is a pain. But performance is a completely different matter. I did mention to Abby earlier that I suffer from chronic stage fright when it comes to performing live. So I generally try not to think about it. I'm a terrible procrastinator. I leave things to the last minute. And then I have a massive panic where I have to get everything done now. And then I'm ready to go, which kind of works for me because the massive panic before the big day keeps my mind busy. And I'm very much an overthinker. And if I've got things to concentrate on, that I'm not sitting there going, you know, it's happening. But I have found the last couple of years I've done very little live performing because of the stage fright. And I must admit, I said yes to you today when you said, would you like to play on the show? And I said yes. And then I ran around the house going to my husband, what have I done? Oh, my God. Because I was just completely freaked out. But I also thought it was a really great opportunity to kind of say to people, just because it scares the living daylights out of you doesn't mean that you can't do it. And I know that 99% of my audience is going to be rooting for me and wants me to succeed.
Yeah.
And as you might have seen in my videos, if I screw up in my videos, I just go, oh, well, I screwed that up, why not? And I just keep going.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say to myself, well, why can't I do that live?
Yeah, what's the difference on stage? There isn't, is there?
Well, you have to end up, you get that realization, I think, which doesn't come early on when you're performing, but you get that realization that an audience, sometimes they quite like it. You know, I've been playing at places where you just make an almighty mistake and you stop and then you have a laugh about it and the audience laugh and then you get on with it and it really doesn't matter. And it's like, you know, I think but it takes a little while to realize that sometimes.
And I think almost once you've made a mistake, you relax a little bit because you're like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I've already made a mistake.
Yeah. It's interesting. I find I really only get the stage fright when I'm soloing. Because I've played in a lot of bands and a lot of duos over the years. One duo I played in our very last farewell gig because Andrew was going off to England. I've never forgiven him, but that's okay. It was electrified harp, so I played my harp and he was playing electric guitar. And right at the beginning of our set with a full audience, we had complete electronic failure. We just lost everything.
Oh, wow.
And we just fell about laughing because we thought, well, it doesn't really matter because they're never going to see us again anyway. And ended up playing the set acoustically. And the audience was so behind us.
Yeah.
And I think partly because they wanted us to succeed, but because we're human. It's like you see these musicians, you go, oh, my God, you know, they're so amazing and they never make mistakes. And why can't I be like that? And then you go, well, actually.
They do.
They're just like everybody else. You just don't see it.
Oh, definitely. I think it's quite nice to talk about as well, isn't it? Because, you know, I mean,
I think people assume that no one has like stage fright. When you see people, you just think, oh, how are they doing that? Like, I'd be terrified to do that. And it doesn't often cross your mind that they're probably terrified too.
I developed a massive stage fright and I didn't play really in public for well over 10 years. Wow. And then I started again and all of a sudden I was kind of fine with it. But so I really understand where you're coming from. But it's really nice for somebody to talk about it because a lot of people don't. Occasionally you hear kind of a famous musician saying, you know, literally every time I go on stage, I'm shaking. And it always kind of feels nice for somebody to say that because you think you've watched this person for years doing it and you just can't believe that they would have stage fright. But it's a very real thing. But I think when you can start thinking that, you know, an audience can be gentle with you and they're going to be on your side and they're going to support you, it does get less and less. Definitely. So yeah, you know, it's really, really nice to hear someone talk about it.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us with the stage fright. I hope we're not too. Hope we put you at ease slightly.
Yeah. And if it gets too much, just tell us that it's the end of the song.
Yeah.
and we'll
just
go with it. We'll go with it.
Yeah. Just do a big finish, and we'll be like perfect.
Yeah. Have we got some questions on Morgana's book? I don't know which I'm going to try.
We have. That was lower down my questions.
Sorry. Closer to camera.
But we can talk about the book first. Where did the inspiration for this book come from? Was this any broken limbs, or this was?
No, I just my music writing, my composition is very much stop and start. It's very I can never control when it's going to happen. For example, the last 3 or 4 days, I actually wrote my new book completely, start to finish.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And I sat down and I went, oh, this is working. Oh, this is working. I mean, it's as rough as anything and it needs refining and still lots of work, but all the basic 13 compositions are there. And it was just like, I'm in the zone. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. But before that, I had 3 months of nothing.
Yeah.
So I've learned now I can't force it. It's either going to happen or it's not. That book really, I started writing and I was like, oh, that works. Okay, that's all right. And sort of a couple of days later, I had another idea and I just slowly built it up until I went, oh, I've got enough songs now. I'll put out a book and see what happens.
Amazing. And do you have a favourite piece in the book?
My favourite piece in the book, which I'm hopefully will successfully play for you today, is Whisper, which was the first piece
lovely.
I wrote from the book. And that came about when I was I get chronic insomnia as well as stage fright. I'm fun at a party. And I was up one night and it was really windy and I could hear the wind rustling through the trees next door. And that kind of inspired me to I was noodling on my instrument. And that's how that one kind of started. So I do love that one. I'm a big fan of anything with broken arpeggios and just little notes around the place. So,
Yeah.
but I like all of them. They're all my babies.
Can I ask, how do you think about writing? Do you think about what the harmonies actually are? Or when you're improvising, are you just kind of playing combinations and finding things that sound nice, and then you know later on that that's a C9 sus4 or something, or do you think about harmony when you're actually writing?
No, I don't think about anything logical at all when I'm writing.
That's the best way.
Yeah, like what I normally sit down is with Whisper, my favorite chord in it is the A sus4, which I didn't know was an A sus4 at the time, which is on the 3rd and 5th fret. And I just basically noodle until I find a sound that I like. And then I was like, okay, well, that's where I'm starting. Where is it going to go next? And I've got two approaches. I either work out my chord progression first, although I might not know what the chords are, and then see where that leads me. Sometimes, and this is going to sound really esoteric, sometimes I'll be composing a melody and I can feel a pull, and I know that the melody is either saying go up or it's saying go down. And then I have to fumble around until I find the note that it wants me to find. On one rare occasion, I actually thought, I need a C sharp, and that's never happened since. But but it's very much a just, pea soup in fog, fumbling in the dark, kind of just being open to anything. I've got more songs I've rejected that I've started than I've actually finished. But also sometimes if I get stuck, for example, when I was playing the A sus4 and I knew I needed to go somewhere, but I wasn't quite sure where to get, I whipped out my handy chord Bible and said, okay, I'm in the 3rd and 5th fret, and I just looked at all the chords in that part of the neck on the uke until I found something that worked. And that got me over that stumbling block, and then I was off sort of noodling again. I do lots of noodling when I'm composing.
And can you remember them, or do you have to quickly record it so that you can be like, that's what
I have to either write it down or I have to record it. I'm trying to write it down now because that means I don't have to go back later and listen to it and then work out what I was doing.
You have to be quite disciplined, don't you? Because I'm not. And occasionally, like if we're doing a review, I'll write something because I don't want to play the same songs all the time. Because people do that, and that's great. But I think, I'm going to try and play something different. But the number of things I sit at home and write late at night, and then the next day I have it because I haven't got the discipline to actually record it or write it down. Yeah, I think you have to have that kind of brain to know, I'm going to want to come back to this later and things like that.
But, look, I think everybody should record everything.
Yeah.
Because you can always delete it.
Yeah.
I mean, in a previous life, I was also a photographer. For example, I do all the cover of my own books. But I learned very quickly as a photographer that you don't do test shots until everything's set up, because you can be guaranteed that the first or second shot you take would have been the shot of the shoot, except you didn't have everything set up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, record everything, don't delete it straight away. Leave it a week, then go back and think, is it crap? Can I do something with this? And if it's crap, then delete it. Because the one time I went, oh, no, I don't need to delete it. The next day I went,
I wish I'd
I
kept
could have done
it.
so much with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
And I think people think I'm not good enough to record myself. Well, you are. Because even if no one else ever hears it but you,
yeah.
if nothing else, you can come back in 6 months' time and go, well, actually, I'm better than I was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just lazy. we have a recording studio and I still don't record myself. But anyway, the photography thing was interesting. So then we can ask you, who is the lady with the blue hair?
The lady with the blue hair was a lovely model that I shot 5 or 6 years ago. That is actually her hair.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I've kept all my photography. These are the sort of shoots that I would do for fun. And now I've thought, well, I've got all these images sitting around. I may as well use them for my books.
Yeah,
Amazing.
no, I love it.
Yeah, it's really
excellent.
cool.
Thanks.
Great stuff. What have you got next, Abby?
Well, I was going to ask you where the name 4-inch Cats comes from.
I bet that's normally the first question everyone asks you, isn't it?
It's normally the first question I get. I'm a cat person. I've always been a cat person. My husband was kind of a cat person when he met me. He's now definitely a cat person. So our previous cats fortunately passed on and we didn't have any cats. My husband was working in town at the time and I was working from home. And it gets really lonely when you're working from home all the time and no one else is around. So I said, please, can we get another cat? Yes, no problems. So we always go to the shelter and I always get adult cats because I figure everybody wants cute kittens. So we went to the shelter and we said, we're looking for 2 adult short-haired male cats. And we came home with 3 female long-haired kittens. And I had to kind of bribe my husband to let me get the 3rd one because the 3 kittens were in the cage together. They'd been dumped at birth together. They were a year old. They'd been together the whole time.
Yeah.
And the shelter had said, look, we're not going to split the 2 twins, but you don't have to take the 3rd one. I thought, you can't leave it behind.
Yeah.
They'd been together for a year. So I did bribe my husband to let me have the 3rd cat, but he said he wouldn't give me an inch on getting a 4th one. So that's where 4-inch cats comes from. So it's a bit of a convoluted story, but
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty good. He indulges me in most things, but and 3 cats is definitely more than enough.
It's a name that you remember as well, isn't it? Because I heard 4-inch cats, kind of various things since we kind of got a little bit more into the ukulele and started the channel. So I kept hearing that before I knew Morgana Creely, really. And then kind of put the 2 together, and so it's definitely a name that sticks in.
Yeah, the question I usually get is it a 4-inch cat or is it 4 cats that are an inch?
And what are they called, the cats?
Cassie, Lissa, and Gemma.
Aww.
And they're all spoilt, completely rotten, and just have the run of the house. In fact, we call Lissa my husband's girlfriend because she likes to lie across his lap like a French nude, and then she'll look over at me and smirk.
And now, do they go in the kitchen pool on like a lilo, or what's the situation?
Oh, they just look at me and just say, "What are you doing?"
I love that.
Wow. Okay, what else have we got?
Well, my next question was going to be, and you've sort of already answered this, how has the ukulele changed your life? And how does that impact your future musical projects? Have you got a lot of things? Well, you've told us that you've just written a new book in the last couple of days.
The ukulele has completely changed my life, and I'm going to sound like I'm going into cliche here, so I will apologize in advance. But with the ukulele, I really feel like I found my tribe, and my tribe is online, and I've met so many amazing people through the ukulele. And I've found the ukulele community to be so much more generous and so much more embracing than any other community that I've been part of. And it's just really cool. So I just feel really welcome, and I've made some really good friends, and I love it that I can share my music and I can share the instrument, and people don't go, "Oh yeah, it's a toy. What are you playing that for?" I'm just like, well, actually, watch this, kiddo. So, and I mean, my bank account has definitely been changed, but that's okay.
And do you have like a local community as well, or is it predominantly online? I don't know how big.
I have a local community, as in the state of Victoria, but not really within Melbourne.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very thriving community in Melbourne, but a lot of the community in Melbourne is very much get together, sing, strum, jam, that kind of thing, where being a finger picker and my music being slightly sort of left of centre, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to those kind of environments, which is great because I think the ukulele can offer something to everybody. And if singing and strumming is your thing, go for it. I would just prefer to be doing something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
but there are some amazing musicians in Melbourne and in Australia, so more power to them.
I think we might need a trip to Australia.
We definitely need.
I think you might need a trip to Australia.
Yeah, we definitely.
And I've made it. What time is it? I've made it half an hour without mentioning Neighbours.
Oh, Abby loves Neighbours.
I'm the biggest Neighbours fan. When I was having a bad day, I'd be like, I just want to move to Australia and be on Neighbours.
My wife loves Neighbours as well. I think she cried when she found out it was actually coming back.
I cried. Honestly, it was an emotional day.
She definitely cried when it ended. But anyway, I mean, I feel like
Morgana's probably, and most Australians aren't actually Neighbours fans, are they?
It's the Brits that love Neighbours.
Oh, I didn't mind it, but it's not a true representation of Australian life.
Don't tell me that.
Don't worry, we know that EastEnders isn't a true representation of British life either.
No.
Coronation Street. But there was something you said
it's more
there.
like Essex, is it?
Well, yeah. There was something you said there I just wanted to pick up on, which was about that kind of attitude to, it's a toy instrument and things like that. Which I can, when we first got to know Paul, we weren't into the ukulele. We didn't know much about the ukulele, and the company we worked for said we're doing a ukulele album with this chap called Paul Mansell, and he came down to see us, and we recorded his album, which was a mixture of classical ukulele and then some sort of modern pops on there. And it totally changed my opinion of ukulele because I was sat recording him, and I was like, wow, this sound coming out of the ukulele. Because again, to me, ukulele had always been, in England, it had always been George Formby, and kind of a little bit rinky-tinky, which, is, again, if that's your bag, fantastic and great, but that wasn't mine. So that's what it had always been. And then I heard Paul play, and I was totally knocked out by it. Yeah. Don't tell him this.
It's all right. I don't think he's watching. He's on holiday, hasn't he?
Because then for the following 5 years until we started this channel, I did keep saying to him, when are you going to play a grown-ups instrument? But, so I'm guilty. I am guilty. But only
that
joking
was more mockery of Paul than the ukulele. It was mockery of Paul than the ukulele. But how do we change? Because one of the things we're interested in as a channel, because there's lots of channels about technique and there's lots of channels about buying ukuleles and which are good ukuleles. We're kind of more interested. We want to change the perception.
Getting the perception of the ukulele changed a little bit. In that, we've had people that watch our channel and people that we know that have had no interest in the ukulele before now, and then have come to us and said, sort of, we're buying one, and we've watched your videos and we want to buy one, and that's what we love. So I was just interested in how do you think, or how would you think that we could change that perception, or you change that perception to kind of include those people that currently don't know what the ukulele is? How do we get it out there more?
Well, I think, first of all, you're doing a brilliant job.
Oh,
because, no, but you're showing that not only is the ukulele fun, which most people know, but it's not just Tiny Tim tiptoe through the tulips, which is most of what Australians know about ukuleles unless they play. And it's just showing people that there are so many things that you can do on a ukulele. You can play early music, you can play classical music, you can play blues, you can play jazz. It's just, you think the ukulele is this, but it's actually so much more. Yeah. And it's just exposing people to this is what the ukulele can do, and trying not for me to have a jerk reaction when, I get mocked for playing ukulele. Yeah. I've had, people laugh in my face when I tell them I play ukulele, which I find really difficult because I don't want to be mocked, but I also don't want the ukulele to be mocked. So
Yeah.
at the beginning, when I first started playing ukulele and people would say, what do you play? I would say, oh, I play guitar and I play harp and I play ukulele, knowing that people would focus on the harp and then I wouldn't get mocked for the ukulele. And then I started to think, well, I'm really doing myself a disservice here and I'm doing the disservice to the ukulele. So now I say I play baritone ukulele and it's fabulous. And if they mock me, I just go, well, you're missing out, aren't you?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a confidence thing too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There are going to be people that are always going to not take it seriously, and
Yeah, I think there's
nothing you can
more
do
and
about that.
more people are taking it seriously, and that's
Yeah.
like, and it's difficult because you know, certainly in this country, we can kind of, you're almost grown up to have it as a children's instrument, you know, and then
Okay.
it sort of it came into schools and it sort of came up level with the recorder in schools in England, which was the first instrument you would learn to play, and that has been the perception of it. And like I say, we've been guilty of that perception ourselves because, you know, I play a few instruments, and I'd never considered the ukulele. You know, I always wanted to play guitar. It was never a dream of mine to play the ukulele. I now own more ukuleles than I own guitars, and you know, it's the first. If I go into a music shop, the first thing I'm looking at is where are there any ukuleles, and you know, it's getting that perception, isn't it,
Yeah.
out there and changing it.
They've just started to introduce ukuleles into primary schools
Oh wow.
here. Before then, it was always recorder. The last couple of years, it has been ukuleles. In fact, I think it was 2019, 2018, 160,000 ukuleles were imported into Australia.
Wow. Which is
Which
great
is
because
fabulous.
it's so accessible and it is a brilliant starter instrument, but it's not just that. It's so much more than that.
Yeah, it's great. And I think if we can get it out there enough to people, like I say, I mean, from our point of view, and you must have this the same, because I think, you know, you as well do an absolute fantastic job at putting the instrument out there and you know, the amount of content and time that you put into it. And, you know, I mean, you run a Facebook group as well, which I think I'm a member of. And, you know, you're constantly on there. And the thing I love about your Facebook group is it is just purely positive. There's, I mean, I don't know if I'm right, but I've never seen, you know, the negative things that you sometimes get on other Facebook groups. It's just positive people posting just really good things about the ukulele. I think it's fantastic. So, you know, I think you're doing a fantastic job of that as well.
Well, thank you.
Right.
Shall we stop chatting and let Morgana play something?
Should we let Morgana play something from Last Call 3 a.m.? I'm going to hold it up again. Hold on.
Unless you're having internet connection problems, Morgana.
Hold on, where's the camera, sir?
Down there we go.
Thank you.
Oh, you've knocked your ukulele over now.
One thing I do get asked about, I will mention just briefly, if I turn, is people ask me why I wear my strap like that. And I actually have a back injury from the 80s, which I won't bore you with the details. But anyone who's having shoulder issues or back issues and finding the weight of your instrument is giving you grief, I call it my off-the-shoulder ball gown strap. But if you just wear it halfway down your back, it takes the weight of the instrument away. Yeah. And if you're like me, when you get tired, you tend to lean on your instrument. You're not going to be putting your neck out. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
No, that's I'm going to try
fantastic.
that. Yeah.
Try it, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Are we taking...
Hope I'm still in tune. Here we go. Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Here we go. Whisper. And she screwed it up, so we'll start again. So there we go. There's a shortened
Yes,
version.
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Oh,
That's
hold on.
beautiful.
We want more applause. than
Thank
that.
you.
Come on, Bongo
Come on,
boy.
Bongo boy.
Oh, we just can't hear it in the
We
studio.
didn't hear it.
Oh, thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. And that was
Awesome.
just a reminder from Morgana's brand new book,
Yeah,
Last
you
Call
can't
Korea.
get closer.
If people don't
Just
win the
as-
competition, where can they get their hands on a copy?
So there's two places. The first, the most important one, actually, if you're in London, if you're in England or in the UK, the London Ukulele Project, also known as the Ukulele Project, run by the lovely Tara. She has that available in her store. So I'm trying to direct all the UK, Europe sales to her because it's a fabulous cause. Otherwise, you can get it from my website, www.4inchcats.com.
Amazing. Oh,
Fantastic.
thank you so much.
And that piece was called Whisper.
Yes.
It
Whisper.
was lovely.
I did actually
really-
cut a bit out in the middle because my nerves did get the better of me. But
We couldn't tell you.
We couldn't
Shouldn't
tell.
have told us.
Yeah, we couldn't tell.
I know, but if anyone following
Oh,
along at
let's
home
Oh,
with
go
yeah.
the
back.
music,
Hang on a second.
No, it was fantastic.
It was. Thank you.
Fantastic.
the pono is a beautiful, beautiful instrument.
So we're going to give you a little break.
Okay.
Only really just because we're doing these live streams every week, so we just kind of bring things on that we say. And I found this. Well, my little boy found this in a store in England called Home Bargains, and it was £11. Now,
Wow.
me and him, Jesse, who I'm sure is at home watching. He wasn't feeling very well, but he was at home,
Jess.
so I hope you feel better, Jess. We did a ukulele review from a toy shop, one from a toy shop a couple of weeks ago, because we wanted to see whether these ukuleles they were selling in toy shops were worth anybody's money.
Because they're
And-
advertising them as musical instruments, not
Not
toys.
as toys. And so we found that one really wasn't worth anything at all. It was pretty awful. But he bought this one. So I was just going to show everyone this one. Ah! Not a well-known make, as it says Ready Ace on the top. But it was £11, and it's a wooden ukulele. It doesn't come tuned up. It comes with the strings very, very slack, so you have to kind of know what you're doing a little bit. It's got friction tuners, not geared tuners, which do make it a little bit harder for a beginner. But I just wanted to bring it on because this isn't going to be tuned now because we tuned it a few hours ago. But I mean, it's not bad. It was a playable instrument for £11. And no, it's not going to get you kind of a million miles. But I just wanted to talk about it because we said that you couldn't buy a ukulele from a toy shop. And it turns out you kind of can.
I mean, technically, it's not a toy shop; it's an everything shop.
It is, but they have a very big toy department, of which this was in the toy department. And yeah, I was just kind of happy to go, do you know what? There's something out there for that kind of price range, because we did have people sort of comment and say, you know, but if it's a toy or I'm buying it as a toy, I don't really care whether it plays or not. And
We care if it plays.
I thought, yeah, we care if it plays. We don't want people buying something that they just can't play anything on. This, you know, it would be a great starter instrument for someone really young, maybe before you go on to the sort of the £30 to £50 instrument, the dolphins and things like that. But I thought not a complete waste of space. So I thought I'd just bring it on and show you. That was it, really.
Morgana, what do you think?
I mean, it's
I
very.
think it's an excellent idea. I think it sounded better than I expected it to. I have seen videos on social media of people giving their 2-year-old something like that, or a toy ukulele, so that they can basically strum while their parents are playing music and they're not going to do any harm to anything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I was expecting with that. But
Yeah,
I think it sounds great for the money.
I would say, I mean, I'm not going to sit and tune it up now because everyone would be very bored, but I would say for sort of, you know, £11, get it in tune, and it will tune up this one. The other one, you had no chance of tuning it up whatsoever. So get it in tune, £11. I think that's just, it was just a nice thing, because I was a bit disappointed when we bought the one in the toy shop that's, you know, anybody is selling this as a ukulele and saying it's an instrument, and it had all these things on the box about it being good for hand-eye coordination and all this kind of stuff, and it was just a lump of plastic that you couldn't do anything with. So well done, Home Bargains, because people have asked us to try the Aldi ones and the Lidl ones here, so we might do that as well.
Yeah,
But-
like my little boy who's 1.5, like he loves the ukulele, doesn't he? And we
Yeah.
try and give him. We've got like little mini fake ones, and he wants the real
I
ones.
want the real ones.
So like
yeah.
this would be to the point where he's got a little Woody from Toy Story toy, and he's holding. I mean, I like to say it's a ukulele. It's potentially a guitar, but he plays it and goes like ding ding, and it doesn't have strings on it. It doesn't make a noise. So for
Yeah.
him to, I think this would be great for him because he can actually
Yeah.
make a noise on it that's not,
Yeah.
you know,
But yeah,
completely horrendous.
anyway, well done, Home Bargains, because it's something that isn't, it's not complete trash. It's not going to last you too long in your playing career if you decide to progress. But £11, I thought excellent. Anyway, that was it with that.
Not bad for a gateway drug.
Exactly. Exactly.
We've got some questions from the public, I think.
We
haven't
have got some
we?
questions. I had a few lined up, but we've got some on here. So let's start at the top. So let's see.
We've got lots of nice comments.
Lots
as well.
of nice comments.
All mostly for you, Morgana.
Yeah, none for us. Sounds like your cats rule the roost. Shazzy
Yes.
P. Okay, so I've only just started with my ukulele. Is there any advice you would give for doing fingerstyle ukulele?
5 minutes every day. Doesn't matter how bad you sound, just do it. I started my fingerstyle just by playing arpeggios or broken chords, just to get the fingers used to moving independently.
Yeah.
So just don't think about what you sound like. Just think about what your fingers are doing and just enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not coming from another instrument, to get those fingers moving independently is really important.
Yeah. 5 minutes every day, I think, it's fantastic advice, isn't it? Because it just builds up. If you sit there for half an hour one day and then you don't play it for another 2 weeks, you're not going to really get anywhere as quickly as you want to. But that 5 minutes a day, within a couple of weeks, you'll be amazed how far you would have come on with it.
Yeah. If you sit down the first day and do an hour, you'll probably strain something. So don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
that's
you won't
my
want to
other
play.
advice to everybody. If it hurts, stop. Okay, have a rest, try again.
So we have a question from Fern Tether. So Fern, again, bongo wife, this is. And Fern also plays in our Anarchy ukulele band, quite often plays baritone. Would you recommend beginners start with soprano ukes and then move on to baritones, or do you think they can start on the Barry from the get-go?
Absolutely start from the Barry on the get-go.
Yeah.
If I would say, listen to the different sizes and go with the one that you like the sound of the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you go, I want to learn baritone, but I'm going to start on soprano or tenor, you're not going to stick with it because you're not playing what you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that there's almost this sizist issue with ukuleles? Because that's the only thing I would say we've kind of discovered a little bit. If we don't talk about sopranos enough, someone will say to us, "You never talk about sopranos; it's neglected." And I mean, we kind of play them all, and I love them all for each one for a different reason. I think tenor is probably my favourite, but I do love playing the baritone as well. I personally find soprano a little bit small, and we get in trouble for saying that, even though that's just my personal opinion. I struggle to get my fingers around some of the chords.
But small for you, not small for
not
everyone.
small for everybody. And I would never say, don't play a soprano, it's too small. Of course not. It's, there's some fantastic soprano players out there. But is that something that you've come across, much being very sort of dedicated to the Barry, and that being pretty much your instrument of choice?
What I tend to get most with the baritone, just play a guitar.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if I wanted to play guitar, I'd be
play guitar.
playing guitar.
Yeah.
And I really tried very hard to get into fingerstyle 6-string because most of the music that I want to play is written for fingerstyle 6-string. So I'm spending a lot of time converting it to 4-string. But my heart's just not there. My heart says 4 strings.
Well,
so I go, well, okay, that's where I am.
Yeah.
This brings us on to another questioner from Paul Mitchener.
Questioner from Paul Mitchener.
Question from Paul Mitchener. Another big fan of the channel. What for you, Morgana, are the chief differences between guitar and baritone ukulele? Now, I think that's a question that a lot of people kind of have sometimes when they don't understand a baritone ukulele. But I'd be interested to hear your opinion on that.
I think it's interesting because yes, the baritone is tuned the same as 4 strings of a guitar. For me, the way my crazy brain works, the baritone is just more intuitive. It just makes a lot more sense for me to move around on the 4 strings. I find it easier to play than a guitar. I have very small hands, thanks, Dad. So I find some of the guitars with 6 strings really difficult to navigate because my hands just aren't big enough.
Yeah.
So I probably play soprano really well because I have tiny hands, and sometimes I can't play stuff on the baritone that I want to because my hands just don't have the stretch. But that's just become part of my style where I just adapt. So, I think definitely guitars have more resonance because they're usually a bigger body and they have the 2 extra strings. But for me, maybe it's just because I'm so obsessed with baritone and I spend so much time listening to baritone that I can generally tell what's a guitar and what's a baritone uke from the sound. And it's the sound of the bari that I want. For a while there, I really felt like a secondhand dealer because ukuleles were coming in and out of my house like you wouldn't believe because I was looking for that sound. I was chasing that sound and I couldn't tell you what that sound was until I found it, which for me turned out to be steel strings. The guitars, I tried the guitars. They didn't give me the sound that I could hear in my head. I'm not mad, really, but I could get from the baritone. So it can be a really, really subjective thing. It's also a size thing, I think, for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who've gone from guitar to baritone for health reasons, whether it's arthritis or they're just getting older and they can't handle the bigger size. Some people say there's no difference. Some people say there's a world of difference. So it's really hard to pinpoint one reason why.
I think I know the answer to this, but do you think of the baritone as the top 4 strings of a guitar, i.e. do you think that you're playing a G shape or a D shape? So what would be a D on guitar? I think of a G shape for ukulele normally, and I kind of carry that over to the baritone so that I don't think of it as guitar voicing. I kind of do the transposition if I need to in my head rather than doing that. But is that similar for you, or do you think of it the other way around?
No, for me, the D chord on the baritone is a D chord on a baritone. I don't think of it as being a guitar chord because not all guitar chords translate across, obviously, because there's two less strings. I guess I've just spent so much time. I mean, my chord Bible I referred to earlier today, I looked at almost daily because I'm always looking for how can I play this differently. I can't quite get my fingers to play this version of the chord. What else is there? Let me play something different. So it's just become ingrained in me that they are baritone chords. Sadly, to the state now that I can't play tenor ukulele without looking the chords up because I can't do the transcribing in my head quick enough.
In our band we always swap ukuleles, so from one song to another, and it does mess with you because you're playing a baritone in one song and then playing a tenor or a soprano in another song, and it does mess with you. But
I'm learning the baritone in 2 tunings. So I'm learning it in D, G, B, E, and I'm also learning it in C, G, D, A in 5th tunings. And sometimes it does take me a little while to flip the brain to which one I'm playing. But, it's just like, well, do you play piano? Do you play guitar? You play them differently. You do adapt. So people are going, how could you possibly learn 2 tunings? Well, you just do. You just get to the stage when your fingers know what they're doing, even if the brain is still confused.
I think that's the thing with the baritone, isn't it, though? You have to, or in my mind, the best way is it's an instrument within its own right. It's not the top 4 strings of guitar. And the second you stop thinking of it like that, all of a sudden it clicks and it makes sense to me. That's how I found it when we first started sort of playing baritones. So you just
absolutely.
You have to get your head out of that space of it's the top 4 strings of a guitar.
But it is the easiest way to explain the tuning to someone.
It is, it is. Right, I'm just having a look. Any more questions? That was Paul. We had fun.
You got lots of applause.
Lots of applause for your playing.
Oh, thank you. you.
Marius, hi Marius, interesting peace whisperers. Lots of hellos. Shazzy P, I'm doing 20 to 30 minutes each day at the minute. Well done, Shazzy P.
Excellent.
Um,
I mean, 5 minutes a day is where you start. Anything above that is a bonus.
yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
Diana says, would you put steel on any baritone that you have? Or
No. To put steel strings on a baritone, it has to be designed to have steel strings in it. It has inside it what's called a truss rod, which gives it the strength to take the extra pressure. If you put steel strings on a baritone that's not designed for steel strings, you'll find eventually your bridge will one day go ping, and it can't take the extra pressure, or your neck will crack, or it will implode.
Yeah.
So don't try that, Diana.
It'll be
So
the end
don't
of the
try it at
world.
home. But there are
Yeah.
more and more baritones coming out with steel strings. Most
Yeah.
of them at the moment are solid body electric, but there are starting to be more acoustic baritones coming out. Because, I mean, I love my Pono, but they're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. So if you really, really, really want steel strings, maybe try a hard body first. See if you like the steel strings. The biggest complaint I get is, ouch, my fingers hurt. How long is this going to take for me to get used to it? It takes it took me about 3 weeks for my fingers to toughen up. But I was playing every day.
Go.
Again, the 5 minutes a day really helps with that, as opposed to big long sessions. Yeah. And then, couple more questions. Shazzy P, I'm curious, what is your chord Bible?
I've got it here somewhere. Here's one we prepared earlier. Make sure I got the right one.
The baritone ukulele chord Bible.
Yes.
Perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's printed by Fretted Friends. There's also an excellent website, which I'll come back later when this is up on your channel and put the link in the comments.
Yeah, definitely.
Where you go to this site and there'll be a ukulele neck and you can say baritone or standard. And if you're not sure what chords you're playing, you can actually put dots on the fretboard and it will tell you.
Oh, wow. That's really
clever. I find that really helpful too.
Yeah.
And they've just added mandolin tuning, which works for the fifth tuning on as well. So that's really handy.
I'm also going to say that in Morgana's book in the centre is chord charts, which I think is a brilliant thing to have in a book like that. I think it's really good. And you've got DGBE, and then you've got the CGDA chords as well in there, which is fantastic. Another little plug. I think.
Any more questions?
I think 4 Motion 54 says, has your baritone steel or nylon or fluorocarbon strings? They're steel. We can answer that.
Steel.
We've already gone through that. Diana says she's got a Pono, but don't think it's necessarily any Pono you can just do the steel strings on.
No, it's not any Pono. These are the I thought this might come up, so I've written down the model number because I don't remember these things. It is a UL 4-2, and it's only specific baritones. I think they're called the big baritones because they're slightly larger size. Yeah. They're the only ones that will take steel. So if it doesn't come with steel, it's not designed for steel.
Yeah. I would say, particularly in this country, if you're not sure, go to one of the specialist ukulele stores.
And they'll be able to help you.
Or pick up the phone to them. They will definitely help you with what you're looking for.
Let me give a quick plug to the Southern Ukulele Store. Guys, were absolutely brilliant. I've actually got 2 Pono steel strings. I've got one in mahogany and one in mango wood, so I can do both tunings. It was complicated because I had to get it shipped from the UK to Australia, and there were all sorts of things. The guys couldn't have been nicer, bent over backwards, were absolutely brilliant. And I got them to pre-tune one of them into the separate tuning I wanted. So big plug for them.
Yeah, amazing.
Definitely one of our favourite stores. Cool. That's it for the question and answer. So shall we get on to the draw?
Yes.
We've got 3 books to give away and we've got 2 downloads to give away.
And those downloads are not just for this book. The download is for all my books.
Oh, wow. We didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
Paul didn't give us the full information.
He didn't give us that information, old Paolo. So fantastic price.
Yeah.
Now, so in our
infinite wisdom,
I was going to say anarchy creating way. We're going to pick the winners using our dartboard
course
that
we
we use
are.
for Dare Darts.
Because that's completely ukulele related.
So I'm going to
Really?
throw the darts, but I'm actually going to look away when I throw the dart. So I'm not aiming for anyone in particular. Yeah, I know. So the walls might take quite a hammering here.
What could possibly
we'll
go
see.
wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, the names aren't on the dartboard; they're on the screen, so you can't see them.
Oh, that's true. I can't see the names
so you
anyway.
can just look at the dartboard, all right?
Yeah,
The dartboard's in a different room. You'll be okay.
it's in a completely different room. So yeah, I
Goodness
don't
Shut
know.
the
me.
door so you
I
are
don't
in
know.
no
So
danger.
everybody who's entered, if you're watching now, you'll see you're on the dartboard or on the thingy on the dartboard.
Well, you will in a second when
When,
Bongo Boy
puts it
jumps.
on.
He's having a little nap.
Right.
Are you, Bongo Boy?
Oh, didn't know you wanted it in
I'm
now.
going to go.
So we're drawing the 3 books first, and then the 2
Should we do it that way?
Morgana downloads, we'll call them.
Let's do it that way. So I won't be able to talk to you because you're not going to hear me. So you do my
I'll
talking.
be your
when I need to.
yeah. I'll be your. I'll talk in your microphone when I'm being
Right.
you.
Tell me when you're ready, Bongo Boy.
Oh,
Have you unmuted your microphone
I
yet?
have. Now I'm in charge.
Can everyone see that? All right. I can't. It's a little bit small.
Absolutely.
I can see it.
That's fabulous.
That took me all afternoon.
Yeah, we've got darts in at the minute. Hold on.
Everyone's got 5 darts. Yeah, it might look a bit weird. The dartboard is upside down because the camera is upside
How about a
down.
round of applause for Bongo Boy for all the hard work? Yay!
Oh, don't encourage him. You applauding yourself, Bongo Boy?
Yeah.
Tell me when we're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Go, first start.
That is Lynn Hunt.
How can you see that?
Yay,
There's a
Lynn.
delay on mine. Lynn Hunt,
Oh,
well
wait,
done.
No,
you have
wait,
won
is it?
Oh,
hold
Bongo
on.
Boy.
I'm really tempted to say that it is Lynn Hunt, but I think, is that in number 2? That's my
Oh.
forfeit.
It's Bongo
Okay,
Boy's
because-
forfeit. Sorry,
because-
Lynn.
Bongo
So-
Boy, because you've said Lynn Hunt, get Lynn Hunt to contact me and I will make sure she gets a book.
It's all right. We'll
We'll
let
give her
Lynn
one.
Hunt have that one.
I've overruled
Yeah,
Bongo Boy.
we've-
Lynn Hunt.
Lynn
No,
Hunt's
means
one.
means I don't have to do a
Don't
forfeit.
worry.
Oh, shame.
Right, next start. That's number 14, Bongo Boy.
That's a better way to do it, yeah. That is Claire Liversidge?
Yes.
Liversidge?
Yay,
Claire.
Claire!
Well done, Claire.
Amazing. And the final copy of Morgana's book, who's it going to be, Kevin?
So final copy of the book. Here we go. That is number 20.
That is Throw Again.
Throw again.
I only picked up 5 darts. Here we go. The next one. What's that?
Number 7?
7.
That is Brenda Riley.
Brenda Riley, congratulations. So now we are playing for the Morgana all-encompassing downloads.
Here we go. My arm's hurting.
Kevin's
His
arm's
arm's
hurting, apparently.
Oh, hold on. Right, I've got to count that one out.
That's my forfeit again.
That's Sam's forfeit again. Hold on. Sam's got 2 forfeits to do. Here we go. That's number 10.
That is 4 Motions 54.
Ooh,
in the chat.
congratulations. Yes.
4 motions 54. Winner. Last start. Oh, hold on. Same one again. Take it out. Well,
Goodness me, you can't get the dart players.
that is number
11.
11.
Kev Croft.
Kev Croft, who's in the live stream too. Amazing.
Do you know what, Morgana? I had a bit of stage fright there myself. Throwing the darts was more nervous than playing. I've got more to throw in a minute as
Oh
well.
my goodness. Congratulations, everyone. And thank you so much, Morgana, for the books
Very
and the
welcome.
downloads. You've made 5 people very happy.
Yes,
Excellent.
awesome. Thank you so much. So we will.
Kev's very excited.
Awesome. We will comment to people's comments when they entered as well. But if you're watching, what do we need? We need addresses for the books so we can send those out.
Yes, and email addresses for the downloads.
Yeah, lovely. And I'm just going to say there's a few people that won things
In
a
our
couple of weeks
last-
ago, but they never emailed in to tell us our addresses and their addresses. Sorry.
Yeah, so hello@anarchyintheukulele.com. If you're a winner, please send us your details so we can send you your prizes.
Yeah, it was last time we played Dare Darts. There was mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of things that people won. But yeah, should we send Morgana a mug?
Oh my goodness, yes. Does Morgana want a mug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
send Morgana a mug. Well, I'll tell you, we'll send you a little hamper of things.
Yes, an Anarchy
That would be
hamper.
lovely.
Anarchy hamper coming over. So yeah, well done everyone for entering that. We will have another big competition coming up for February, and I guess we'll announce that next week, shall we?
Oh, yes, sorry. Lynn's got to go. Goodbye, Lynn. Sorry.
Bye, Lynn.
And Adam has just joined us.
She's won and she's off.
No, different Lynn.
Bye, Adam.
Adam has just joined us. He says, obviously I'm late. He was in the wrong app.
Oh, well.
He needs a book and he would play proper blues on the cheap ukulele too.
Bless him. Cool. Right. We're coming towards the end. I mean, we're overrunning, but
Wow.
we don't mind, do we? Well, we've got people winning prizes.
No, we don't mind at all. We have got a quick fire Q&A for Morgana.
Go on then,
if you've got any energy left, Morgana.
So this is quick fire. I'm going to throw the darts. They're all on the dartboard again. Let me go. I'm just going to throw as many darts as I can.
You got to let me ask the questions in between.
Okay, right. Here we go.
This isn't going to go wrong at all.
Right. Are you ready, Bongo Boy?
Yeah, the dartboard's wobbling around all over the place, but we'll be ready to go.
Don't think that helped. Right, here we go. First question. Number 7.
Who inspires you?
David Hamburger.
Lovely.
Number...
Do you need an explanation?
Nope.
No.
Invisibility or super strength?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, invisibility, definitely.
Number 12.
Number 12 is, oh, that's tiny. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
10.
Beautiful.
Number 18.
Favorite make of ukulele string?
Martin's.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Kevin too.
Number 5.
Number 5, your favorite place to play ukulele?
In my music studio.
Ah.
Number 17.
Your favorite ukulele player?
Ooh, that's really hard. I'm not sure I have one.
Paul Mansell. Okay, next one.
Oh, that's the same one again. So we'll go for number 20.
Number 20.
That's a forfeit.
Oh, well, that's a forfeit.
I mean, I did know that number 20 was the forfeit. I've been aiming at it.
Morgana looks terrified.
So, our
I'm
forfeit...
just going to go now.
Yeah, the connection's gone. We discussed this over our curry, and our forfeit was, now you might say no to this and it is okay, but in a future book, we would like a piece called Anarchy.
Done. Absolutely done.
Excellent.
It's just going to be 10 minutes of one chord over and over again.
Like a manic, crazy live stream.
I think that's a brilliant place to end.
I think it is too.
The quickfire question. I'm out of breath.
You did a good job. I'm just going to check if we've got any last comments before we say goodbye. Is there an email address on your YouTube page? I don't know if there is, You Can Flute, and there should be. And yes, Lordy, you are late.
Oh, Lordy.
There is an email address. If you go to our channel and then to the About section, there's a little box that says business email. You can click on that and it will show the email.
Thank you, Bongo.
Lordy, you are late. And also you won a t-shirt, Lordy, and you haven't emailed us to tell us which one you want.
Well, no, I
Email us.
can't remember what it was.
Oh, you won something, Lordy.
Yeah, you won something, but we've got a list.
Yes.
So can I give you my final tip?
Yes, please.
Okay, to all ukulele players out there, you are better than you think you are. You listen to yourself practice every single day. You don't see the improvements. You don't hear the improvements because you hear yourself every single day. It's like losing weight. It's so gradual. But if you record yourself today and listen back in a month's time, I promise you, you will hear the improvement. So believe in yourself, because I believe in you. Anarchy believes in you. The ukulele community is behind you. So just do it.
I'm pregnant and very hormonal. Why are you trying to make me cry?
She's crying again. She's crying again. Can I tell a little story about you crying? So in our office, the big craze at the minute is AI, isn't it? And everyone's been on Chat GDP or whatever it's called. And we've been the same in our office. So we were kind of trying to get it to do things the other day, and Abby was moving house. So we got it to write a poem about moving house, which I then sent to Abby, who replied with, "Why are you trying to make a pregnant woman cry?" And then we had to fess up it was just a robot.
I mean, this morning a man on the radio won £23,000 and I cried because he was so happy.
But your top tip was awesome.
It was amazing. And you're awesome and fantastic. And thank you so much for getting up so early and joining us. It's been amazing to have you.
We have enjoyed this so much. It's been by far our best live stream. Absolutely loved it.
Same time next week?
Yeah. Well, we will definitely have you on again at some other time. Maybe we'll stay up a bit later next time. But
or we'll get up early.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been absolutely fantastic. And thank you for the prizes. The book is amazing. So please do go out there. And which we didn't say, and I don't know if you like us saying this or not, but even if you're not a baritone player, you can play this from using the tabs, and it's fantastic. I know Paul certainly didn't. Has Paul got? I'm not sure Paul's got a baritone, and Paul plays it all the time. And plays it on his tenor. So, you know.
Yeah, ignore the music, just play the tabs. Works perfectly.
Exactly. If you are into baritone, even better, fantastic. But you can play it whoever you are. So please have a look at Morgana's stuff. This is book number 2, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
Number 2. Yes, 3's on the way. Number 4's going to have a song called Anarchy in it.
And I promised Lynn, who I know who's watching, that I would put together a practice journal for her. So that'll be available sometime soon too.
Oh, awesome. Amazing. And awesome. I can't play the video because I'm not close enough to the camera, but I'm just going to play you the sound from Paul so you can hear Paul's message. Here, hopefully. Oh, it's buffering. Here we go.
Press play.
He's paused in a really unflattering.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
I'll forward it to you.
We'll send you Paul's video, and we might put it up on another live.
Yeah, just stick it on the end of this one.
Yeah. We'll stick it on. But thank you so much. Morgana also has an album as well. 2 albums. 2 albums.
2 albums.
Get over to. Just give a plug for your website again.
4inchcats.com.
4inchcats.com. Get over to there, have a look at all Morgana's stuff. It's fantastic.
And the Ukulele Project here has got the book.
Ukulele Project. And if people have any questions afterwards that they forgot to ask, they can find me on Facebook, email me, catch me on social media, harass you. I mean, we're all around.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You are a friend of Anarchy and the Ukulele for life. Definitely. Yay! And we're coming over to stay, to swim in the pool.
Can't wait.
All that kind of stuff. But
must love cats.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Probably, I've really enjoyed the late night, but
probably at our normal time.
Probably at our normal time, and then we're going to do the late night one, which will be this kind of sit and chat and have guests on the last Friday of every month.
So, thank you everyone else who's joined us. I'm just checking this. No. Shazzy P says, lovely lady, thank you for tonight. Diana says thank you. Lordie's going to watch the replay.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for watching. We love all the support that you give us. So please keep commenting, liking, subscribing, tell all your friends, and we'll be back next week live. There's a couple of videos next week. Can't think what they are, but you'll find out soon enough.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Morgana.
Thanks for joining us. Cool. Right. Is Bongo Boy pressing the button?
I mean, I can press the button. Which button? All of the buttons?
Can we have some music to dance out to?
Oh yeah.
Can.
Is that playing?
I don't know.
Who knows? End it, Bongo Boy. End it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't dance.
I'm just going to mute everyone, and then I'm going to talk, and they can dance.